house. As you can see, there is a garden here. I'm sitting inside next to a huge window on a very, very comfortable dark purple couch. And if I look outside, I'm seeing the same thing as you are seeing now, which is a small and cute garden. I'll tell you all about that in a bit, but first let me tell you, there is joy to be found all around us, and it's so easy to forget. What I mean is, well, let me just give you an example. I was just sitting here on the rug in the living room, a very comfortable rug as well, I might add, and I was thinking about what I wanted to watch on TV, and I didn't know, so I was kind of browsing, and then I came across Elementary, the TV series that I've been watching over and over. Well, no, that's kind of an exaggeration. The series that I've been watching, like, completely. So what happened? Let me just do one thing. I'll be right back. Okay, here I am again. Obviously you didn't notice me missing. There's a cat here in the house. He is called Joop. And I just had to make sure that he wasn't eating the leftovers of my dessert. Because I'm supposed to take care of him, and he is not supposed to eat a lot because apparently, well, he eats too much. So I was browsing to see what I wanted to watch, and then I came across Elementary, which is, in summary, a television series about Sherlock Holmes, except it is an adaptation, really. Sherlock Holmes is still pretty much Sherlock Holmes, although he now lives in New York City in modern times. And then both Watson and let me think. Now I'm confused. I watch too many Sherlock Holmes series and movies to remember which one is which. In any case, Watson is a woman in the series. And let me tell you, it's a wonderful series, and I don't know, I came across Elementary in this library of sorts. It's not Netflix, but something like Amazon Prime, I think. I don't know. Like I said, I'll tell you in a bit where I am and why I'm here and why I don't know what's going on the television. But the thing is, I decided to watch it again because somehow I like watching pilot episodes of series that I enjoy. I don't know why exactly. I feel like if you've seen more of a series and you really like the characters, or maybe you despise them but you enjoy the series, it's nice to see the pilot episode again, because now you kind of look at it differently. Because the first time, obviously, when you start watching something, you don't know anything about it, usually. So then you're kind of, clueless. And then afterwards, when you know who the main characters are and what the characters are, the characters of the main character, you sort of watched it. I think I actually have, so this might be the third or maybe even the fourth time of me watching it, but I'm still enjoying it a lot. There's still stuff that I don't remember exactly, but I just got one of these insights. It doesn't really matter what it is, but it's just me deciding to watch this very pilot episode another time. It makes me so happy, and I just realized, like, oh wow, this series feels like home somehow. It feels like I'm coming home watching this series, and that might just seem like a silly, tiny thing, like, okay, you watched an episode that you liked, but it's actually more than that. It invokes a feeling in me, a feeling of blissful solitude, of me being in this living room alone with, well, a cat, and my son, by the way, who is asleep upstairs. But I don't know. I feel like this might be a silly example, and it's hard for me to translate the blissful feeling that I just had into words that make sense, because it all sounds, well, silly. It's not silly. Let me tell you, I feel happy. I feel happy. Maybe I should tell you about the realization that I just had, because, I don't know, not because you really need to know in order to understand this point, but maybe that the thing is, I've been thinking about my life. I mean, I always think about my life, but like, how do I want to live my life? How do I want to build up my business, and how do I want to, well, basically spend my days, like, really on a small scale, like, and the thing that I've been kind of struggling with is I'm tired, and I'm trying to dissect where that comes from, because I think if I know what is the cause, I can more easily decide what my next step of action should be. But it's hard to dissect, because thinking back about my life as a full-time journalist, I feel like I was at least like halfway a chronic burnout, and maybe I was there already, maybe I had a burnout already and I was just ignoring it, and I had found this mode in which I could just go on forever, but it was basically barely hanging on. And it was more by sheer stubbornness that I managed to continue, and not because it was actually all that doable. So I feel like leaving that job behind sort of parachuted me into this ocean of tiredness. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. That is something I just have to go through, move through, allow myself to rest, and then I'll emerge again. It's not something I think that I should speed or try to speed up. But then, of course, we had the lockdown and the pandemic, and me being a single mom, it all obviously, I don't know, like, if there's like one cause and then several other things that just made it worse, or if it's just all, I mean, it's all connected, surely. Anyway, I've been thinking about how I wanted to manage my days, plan my days, and it's something that I think about a lot. So, one question that I had is that if I think about my business, my new business, well, it's still new, my life as a business owner, I struggle to get things done. And that is in part because there's some stuff out of my comfort zone, some stuff that I find to be scary. And it's not that I'm not own, it's just a slow process. And in part, it's because I'm just so tired all the time. And I've been thinking about how I can solve this. And I think that I really have found a business, a topic that I enjoy, a topic that I'm good at, a topic that I can really help people with. And I can build a business in a way that I actually enjoy my days. I feel I can get there. And still I'm in this mode where as soon as I tell myself to do something, I don't want to do it anymore. I feel overwhelmed and tired. And that is just such a annoying thing. And the last couple of, weeks or months, I've been thinking about what is the root cause of this. Because if I want to change this, I know what to change. I have to know what to change. So I think it's not the actual business. And I think it's not the work itself. I think it is me being tired. Well, wow, I feel like I'm just rambling on and on and on, trying to explain something that should just be like a minor path away from the main story of this video, but well, what am I thinking? Anyway, this is what I've been thinking about. So now what happened here in this episode of Elementary is that Watson uses 2 alarm clocks in the morning to wake up, and then Sherlock Holmes is telling her that she must not like her job because people who like their jobs do not need 2 alarm clocks in the morning. And that got me thinking, like, I am the Watson in this scenario. I definitely was the Watson in this scenario when I had my full-time job as a journalist, but I still am Watson. And I was thinking about, I want to become Sherlock Holmes, who just wakes up and is excited for the day and wants to do a lot of stuff. And then the realization that I suddenly had now, which is kinda new, but I feel like I've thought about this before, but now suddenly the importance of it feels way more clear. Suddenly I realized that I do actually not dislike most of the things that I have to do for my job, for my new job as business owner. The thing that gets me down, or the thing that bugs me, the thing that I'm not good at, and that might just be my character, it also might be like, worse now because of all the tiredness. But the thing that I'm not good at, or that I at least despise, is having to focus on too many things at once. Like in theory, I can easily see an ideal day for me that starts with waking up, having breakfast with my son, brushing my teeth, bringing him to the daycare, start with first some kind of job, 2 hours focused, then emails and admin, then lunch, maybe take a walk or go on a spinning bike for a bit, then do Instagram stuff, and then do something for the blog. But in reality, if I plan my days like that, it won't happen. Even if I get the morning part done, I'm exhausted after that. And just now, looking at Elementary, I realized that I actually do recognize this thing that Sherlock has, that he just wakes up and is excited to start the day and to start working. And when I have that, it's always when I am in a flow. And sure, that might be hard to, just start to get into a flow, but it's way more easy for me to get into a blissful mode when I can focus on one thing. If I know that I have one job for the day, it feels way easier, and then I really like to go into nitty gritty stuff, and I don't mind if I have to work. I mean, I don't want to work all evenings, but it's easy for me to lose track of time and to work till late and just be, just having to force myself to lay down the work. And I just realized now, watching Elementary, that I have to celebrate the fact that I'm able to do that, and I have to make sure that I plan my days that way. So one thing that I want to try is theme days. And it just dawns on me that for the longest time I tried to resist it. Like I said, I've thought about this before, but then it's always like, okay, maybe I need theme days. But then I feel like, okay, but there's a lot of stuff that I have to get done and I should check my email every day, so the theme days never are really theme days. And in no time the theme day consists of me doing focused work on one theme for 2 hours a day, and in the end the theme days, I plan them exactly the same as my regular days, in which I usually also like to plan 2 hours of some kind of focused work. So I'm not doing what I actually want, which is just one thing at a time. And I think one thing a day is good enough. It doesn't necessarily have to be a week of something, although that could surely work too. But if I look back at being a journalist, sometimes I had these huge projects that were a lot of work, but that I could focus on. That, like, for example, for a couple of weeks, or even for 1 week, I just had one thing to do. And boy, I could work hard if that was the case. I would leave no stone unturned. I would follow all the leads. I would, write and rewrite and edit, and I would go all in. So I feel like that's what I should incorporate in my days, like way more drastically. And I don't know, it feels like a luxury to be able to do that, but I am able to do that. And there's this small devilish voice inside my head that is now telling me, but yeah, Micah, but sure, you better still do other things, because you have to check your email, you have to do this, and it would be really good if you do this every day. But that is like wishful thinking, because it never happens that way. If I plan my days that way, I'm getting lost. Sometimes I don't even start. Sometimes it's somewhere in the morning, but I never complete days like that. So I should just, surrender. Just embrace. Just dive in. Go all in on this. And I just realized that. So basically, that was just me sitting here on the rug, on the very comfortable rug in this living room, in this house that I'm gonna tell you all about in a bit. And just me realizing, like, oh wow, life is good. There are these little, like, these little magic moments to be found, just, everywhere. So, yeah, go and have yourself a nice, blissful moment. And don't make it too complicated if you don't know where to look. Just, it's all around you. It's the small things, really. It's like the plant that is growing and that has this beautiful color of green. I'm looking at a couple of plants, obviously. It's the cat sleeping. There's a cat sleeping in front of me now. By the way, this cat, Joop, looks just like Harvey. I don't know, old-time listeners know Harvey. He was my cat. He died a year and a half ago. And I still miss him so much. And this cat is like, he looks like Harvey so much. traveled a lot. I'm thinking about if, I've probably, let me see, maybe we started traveling when, I don't know if I've made whisper videos about one of our trips. I think I have, but maybe not, because it doesn't matter. The thing is, she is in Portugal right now for a week and a half, and she has a cat, and she asked if I maybe wanted to sort of live in her home while she was abroad, so I could take care of the cat. And her house is bigger than mine, and there's this garden, just a small one, but it's very cute. And I was actually excited about it, so I said yes. So my son and I, we've been on this trip. I told him we were gonna go on vacation, and he was very excited, and now this is our vacation home. And it's in the same city where I live, but it's further out of the city center. It's not at all in the city center. It's still in a very old part of town. It's very characteristic. It's beautiful old houses, like around 1900 they were built, I think, the streets around here. And it's a beautiful walk from here to the city center. It's, I don't know, like 25 minutes walk. And we've been here since Friday evening. I went to pick up my son from the daycare, and then we went here by bicycle, obviously, because we're Dutch. And the house is, I mean, it isn't huge, but compared to my small apartment, it is pretty huge. And there's a kitchen in the middle. Like, the kitchen is very close to the living room, and it's kind of an open floor plan downstairs. So if I'm in the kitchen, like cooking, I'm basically just in the living room. It's kind of hard to explain. I don't know, maybe you understand. The thing is, it's very nice, because then my son might be playing with the many Lego bricks that my friend has, and he can just see me and I can see him. And in my apartment, I don't know if you remember or if you've seen one of my apartment tours, but the kitchen and the living room are connected, but there is like this corner. So if you're in the kitchen, you cannot see the living room, and vice versa. So it kind of feels closed off. So my son usually doesn't like it if I'm cooking. So it's I don't know. This just feels like a fresh breeze. There's 2 bedrooms, although I'm still sleeping with my son in the same bed because I like to. There's like this guest bedroom with a double bed, and there is this garden, and it's just nice. I was excited for the garden because, I don't know, it's nice to have a garden. But also I'm sometimes thinking about where I want to live next, because my apartment isn't that big and it is expensive. And although I really like to live in the city center, it's also sometimes I feel like, it might not be forever. And then I'm like, but where do I want to live? And then I don't really know. So I feel like it's actually good to sort of experiment, to see how I feel. And I thought beforehand that I might feel a little bit lonely. I always feel like I'm this huge introvert. I don't want to talk to other people, but I do like to live in the city center, because then I'm surrounded by other people. But because it's a city center, it's all very anonymous. Nobody expects anything from me. People don't talk to me. I can just walk around and be left alone. So it feels like I am alone in this decor of many people. And that somehow feels not lonely at all. And I kind of figured that if I would live farther out, I mean, here there's the street and there's plenty of houses. But if I look outside, chances are that I don't see anybody. I mean, usually I don't see anybody if I look outside. Only sometimes there is someone walking or riding a bicycle. So I thought that might be a little bit more lonely, but I just realized now that I'm talking about loneliness that I've not been feeling lonely at all these last couple of days, so that's interesting. Also, I don't know, loneliness is sometimes connected to being single, but if you ask me, my most lonely periods in my life were when I was in a relationship. In my last relationship, my last real relationship, the one that I broke up with, like, the one that I was in when I started this channel. I felt so lonely in that relationship. That was my most loneliest time in my life. My loneliest time, my most lonely time in my life. So, yeah. I'm not lonely here. And there's actually some houses that look really cute, and I felt like, okay, maybe I should focus on start making money with my business, like more money, because I enjoy it. So yeah, I feel like I sort of have to go through a shift mentally. I don't like to talk about mindset stuff because that's also hyped, and I don't know, I just don't like it, but I do feel like I have to work on my mindset. What I mean is, for me, to be selling with more ease, I have to become a step more confident. And I can feel, I'm way more confident than I was a year ago, and I feel like there's this next level that has been close by, nearby for a while, but that I've been avoiding for a while as well, and it's time to just jump on. So, yeah, I might do that. Let's see. I'm really excited about this idea too. Like these theme days. I'm even now thinking like, I used to think that there's all these recurring things like writing a blog post. I should do one a week because I'm posting one a week. But actually, when I'm then trying to write one and I don't really know which topic, and then I start 3, and in the end I have 3. It's like if I would just, for example, once a month have a 3-day period, just guessing something, that I would be writing blog posts. Then I could go sit somewhere in a nice coffee bar. I could think about topics. I could do all these things. And then I would just be able to, it would be easy to create 4 or 5 or maybe even 8. And then I would just have this stack of blog posts to schedule. And it would just be way easier. I can do this. I can really totally do this. Okay. So, I'm in his home. We've been here for 1 weekend. I'm not sure if we're gonna sleep here for the whole week, or if we're also gonna sleep back home for a couple of days and then we'll have another vacation next weekend. Because the next couple of days I'm just gonna work, and my son is gonna go to the daycare. And obviously I also have to take care of my own cat in my own home. So I either will sleep here in my friend's house and then probably work at my own apartment so that things around you because they're there to be found. Yeah, just go look because it's wonderful, and it's really the small things. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for listening, and I'll speak to you soon.